Hello, everybody. Glad to be with you guys today on this wonderful Saturday. I had some internet problems earlier, as in the internet was completely out. Internet has been restored. Sorry about the late start, but had to at least round up some material before I just come on here live. So I needed at least, at least like 15, 20 minutes and so on. But glad to be here with you guys. It's going to be a good show. Please smash that like, even though we're starting late. It does help get the broadcast out to a broader base. If you're wondering, excuse me, what's going to be covered today, it will be these particular topics. And basically speaking, we are going to start off with Jasmy. If you stayed to the end of last night, you knew that I was basically talking about it being Jasmy. Will be started today because I didn't want to turn it into an extended WrestleMania last night. Kind of went that way because it was like the 3-hour mark. On top of Jasmy, we have, I believe, we have some Casper. We have a lot of Casper. Some real big things happening with Casper. You need to be informed about that. Shout out to Tokenizer and a few other guys like X Frontier and so on. X Frontier put together the best thread with visuals in regards to Casper. So if Casper is your thing, shout out to X Frontier for doing a great job with providing us this information. By all means, give them a follow on YouTube. Same with Tokenizer. On top of that, we have some big updates for Algorand. And then rounding things off will be a great segment for Bitcoin SV, aka BSV. It won't be super long. You're going to see a clip from Brad Doherty, right, of BSV. And in this clip, really well done video, professionally done video, only 2.5 minutes. And now, of course, we'll round things off for the night. I'm hoping that Investor Place will be done with their outline. All right, now I got a 404 error, but usually means that either Luke Lango or Charlie Shrem or somebody like that has gone in and edited their original posting. So as we get through the entire outline of the night, I will refresh this because it's good stuff. It's in regards to, like it says, weekly update. The week cryptos went mainstream. Talks about how, for instance, BTC surging to fresh 2023 highs as more big-time asset managers file for spot Bitcoin ETFs, as we know, Fidelity and so on. Talks about all that and gives us an outline and a little bit of an update in regards to what I would refer to as the bull run thesis. Thank you for being here tonight. We're going to go ahead and jump into the comments. I'm going to turn on a few banners, and I'm going to welcome each and every single one of you. All right, let's jump into it. And here's one. Here's another. And on top of that, we got the one's going to cover part of my hat, but that's okay because I want people to give us a follow, especially this guy right here, me. All right. At DPG Maximus. Some of you guys don't use crypto Twitter. You should use crypto Twitter. It's like a part of your utility belt, if you will, when it comes to research and updates. Same with Reddit. All right. We're going to start things off by welcome the one and only Tim Shea, who says, hey, thank you for being here. Mayor of Crypto, Tim Shea. Boom. All right. I got to watch it there. I might hit the camera. All right. The lovely Brittany, always looking sharp. Happy Saturday. I was informed yesterday when I watched a little bit of the replay that I do not inform Brian Dowie that he looks sharp, or Boomer F and Sooner are looking sharp. And this is some kind of blasphemy. This is some kind of discrimination against you guys. So I'll have to see if you guys switched it up. But, yes, Brittany always should looking sharp. Mike says Saturday, good time to talk crypto. I mean, it is. That's why sometimes we call it Saturday Rewind. If I'm with you guys, most of the time I'm not with you on the Saturdays, but I put out the thumbnail called Saturday Night Rewind because in reality, it is kind of a rewind. There's not really a lot that goes on a Sunday or a Saturday for the most part, but, it is what it is, right? Nice looking thumbnail. Thank you for being here, Mike. Welcome back from Avocado. Now, I do remember yesterday, we had the thing that you were requesting to look into, and I haven't had a chance to do a proper, I guess you could say, video on that, but I haven't forgotten. And if you're like, oh, you're just like any other content creator says, I'll look into that. Nope. Here's exactly what you said. At 8:47 p.m. my time, Pacific Standard Time. Hey, Max, love the show. Would be great if you could break down short-term / mid-term, long-term holds. What type of projects you would put into each and how you would identify sell time for short to mid. So I definitely, like Biggie Smalls, I relax and take notes. Welcome back, Mr. Avocado. But in this particular one, I'd rather just do it in a proper recorded video. And that way there's a little bit more focus on that and so on. But no, unfortunately, I wasn't able to put together like a deep dive last night and so on. I had to take care of a lot of things in regards to my dad and whatnot. But welcome back. Glad to have you back. Love the avatar. Avocado. What a name. And if you're a gamer, that should be your name too, right? All right. April Cornwell. Happy Saturday night. Beautiful crypto friends. Welcome back. Glad to have you here, April. I just want to re-advise everybody to please smash that like. We're at currently 15 likes, 21 people here. April Cornwell said, hey, girl. Selma Fudd is in the house. The one with the master rhymes, Selma Fudd. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. Crypto Homes 777 in the house. Hello, everyone, he says. And also Elon Muff says, yo. Brian Dowie says, sup, Max. And the son of the Cornwells, JC the man, Josh Cornwell the man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I didn't mess that up. Almost messed that up, but I didn't. Thank you for being here, Josh Cornwell. Give him a follow at JC the man. He says, yo. And he's either pointing to himself or he's flexing. So I just have to put my hat up more higher. That's another thing I noticed. It's like sometimes when I'm talking, I'm like too far down this way. All right. Brian Dowie's in the house. See, Brian Dowie's looking sharp with his Tom Brady jersey. I mean, thank you for being here, Brian Dowie. You and your lovely son. See, I give compliments. You guys are both looking sharp. All right. Where's Ava? Really? All right. Friendly neighborhood pleb. Aloha. Well, welcome from Hawaii. You are. It's 3:32 p.m. Most places here in the United States is dark, and it's still lovely sunshine over in Hawaii. So aloha. We're gonna welcome a few more people, and then we're gonna kick into the outline. GF Burke is back, straight out of Idaho, representing, I believe, from Boise or that area. Welcome back, Mr. GF Burke, not to be confused with girlfriend Burke. But that's his clan, and then mine is DPG, as in Dog Pound Gaming. That's right, represent 21 years. Do you know of any other gaming communities that have been around for 21 years? There's a few, but there's not a lot. Anyway, welcome back, Cash Cats. Always appreciate you. Thank you again for the prayers. Really appreciate that, man. All right, rapid viral. Already talk about Jasmy. What we do first is we welcome people. We haven't talked about it yet, but it'll be the first thing we get into. So we're almost there. Rapid viral. So you're just in time. Let's see what you got with your avatar, man. Wow. If that is really you, you are the most shredded, ripped man in the world with that forearm. Was it in the movie, not 8 Mile? I always say 8 Mile. Training Day, it's like King Kong ain't got nothing on me. Well, how about this? Popeye's forearm ain't got nothing on you. My goodness, look at how freaking ripped that is, man. If you're a dev of a project, I wouldn't want to mess with you. Anyway. All right, I did see a super chat come in. I also was just going to rapid fire through some of these before I can get down to it real quick, because I don't want to miss anybody. So rapid viral, again, welcome. Your DPG Prime, hello, son. Optimus Prime, really? If you Rodimus Prime, are you Rodimus Prime? There's a guy in our clan name, DPG Rodimus Prime. Is that you? If that's you, that'd be pretty cool, man. It'd be the first time second time I had a clansman join from the gaming group. Mental X in the house. Hello, is it Mental X you're looking for? Lionel Richie. All right. We did have a super chat come through. I'll just read this real quick before we get to it. Corey BB. I know Stronghold is big for IBM worldwide, running on Stellar's blockchain. How big will /can Sword Bomb be for Stellar? All right, you want to know how big that will be for Stellar? I'll tell you. I'll give you the quick gist. It's absolutely huge for Stellar in light of like how, for instance, huge Ethereum is. Now, Ethereum is slow, but Sorbonne is basically like Stellar's Ethereum, but like with all the beautiful things of speed and efficiency and so on. This is why we highlight some of these things, whether it's Cubist, whether it's Sorbonne. But for me personally, I'm glad people are paying attention to Sorbonne. Sorbonne is huge for Stellar, and you're starting to see it kind of blossom out. We're right at the beginning parts of it. It's absolutely big. It's one of the premier ones being built on Stellar. There's a lot of things being built on Stellar. Don't get me wrong, right? But this is pretty big. I would say this Sorbonne, Cubist. Obviously, there's some other ones. We might have time to get into another one. There's a project that is, I'm sure you guys heard about Near Protocol. Near has a thing going on with Stellar as we speak that was explained 3 days ago. It's a long interview. I was planning on just doing a deep dive on it. I don't know. We may get into that. We may not. But I'm glad you're paying attention to that stuff, man. Sorbonne is absolutely big. Again, I mean, we all have a way of looking at Ethereum, but it's just so much better than Ethereum. And come on freaking Stellar. I mean, how are we not excited about that? We did a few videos on Sorbonne updates. All right. Let me go down to the super chat because it definitely needs to get recognized. On top of that, we got the one and only Stardog's in the house. All right, glad to have you here, Stardog. All right, Crypto Jedi with the $5 super chat. Buy some Jasmy on me. Oh, well, thanks, man. I mean, after YouTube breaks it down off the 33% of the $5, and of course split some with Mr. Larry, the eggplant man. I don't know, maybe get like $1.75 out of that, but thank you, appreciate it. All right, so let's get into it. You might as well. Let's welcome Dave D, and let's just jump right into what we have on our outline. Let's just double check the other screen. Glad to have you. All you guys, GTGS, all you guys. Blaine said it on Predator. Yes, GT, especially your Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger avatar, the Cool Cat Cryptos in the house. Cool Cat, we have a nice little segment for BSV. A guy we haven't seen here in a long time from Clown Coin is here. He says, hi, Max. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'll state this, Clown Coin. We had another project that reached out to us, and nothing against those guys, but I was thinking that they want to do like an AMA, and they just couldn't give me anything definitive on what they wanted to do. At least you come and watch, and you are a supporter of the show. You're not trying to necessarily, do some ridiculous nonsense. So I don't know. Hopefully your Clown Coin's going all right. All right. Shout out to you guys in the Clown Coin. All right, we're gonna jump right into it because we need to. So we're gonna do that right now. Dave D, of course, in the house. Let's jump into some Jasmy content. Smash that like if you haven't done so already. We're at 24 likes, 37 people. Maybe we'll tick up to 40 on this wonderful Saturday. It's Saturday. There's not a lot of shows going on at this time. If there is, then there is. All right, so let's get into it. We're going to show you how basically Jasmy's been trending. Shout out to the Aussie Life if he's here tonight. This one's for you, my friend. So like it shows right here, it is trending. How so? All right. Well, it says the strength of our commitment and basically our community. All right. That's the bottom line. 46,200 tweets. I believe this was published the other day. I mean, it's up there with even politics and stuff like that, right? I mean, another one that's trending. Look at that. Casper. Can we blow it up a little bit more? No, that's big enough anyway. But yeah, I mean, Jasmy, Casper's trending. Both of those are on the outline tonight. So that's pretty cool stuff. We're going to jump into the next part of what we have. Shout out to this guy. Pretty ripped dude, right? Cyan 1K, Blake Berry Hill is his name. Japan Virtual Currency Exchange Committee, JVCEA, Times Strategic Business Innovator Group, SBI. Little known fact, I didn't even know that That's what SBI meant. And sometimes I just go by the abbreviations. Let's face it, a lot of us do. There's too many abbreviations in this world, is there not? Especially when you're texting people. But anyway, that's what SBI stands for. They work seamlessly to review safe crypto during the push. That makes sense. Genki Oda, especially of Japan, he's part of the FSA as well, right? So, I mean, he's a policy decision maker. But yes, this push to a Web3/5 economy. What happened to 4 anyway? Where Jasmy has passed the screening, looking to be a major native token amongst tax amendments. And where is this position? Well, we'll show you. This is big enough. It has to be. There it is. There you see Jasmy up among the mix, along with BTC. You have, for instance, Polygon. You got some Shiba Inu in there. I know some Clayton. We have covered Clayton here quite a few times. Cosmos. There's a lot of familiar names. Tezos, obviously XRP. I did do the classic thing tonight, but that's okay. There's some XDC in here. Of course, XDC's in here. We remember when we reported about the whole thing of XDC and SBI, also QNT and SBI. I mean, some people think I'm crazy. They say it's a stretch in regards to Jasmy, if someday becoming fully interoperable by using Quant's overledger. But we know that with Hyperledger Fabric, that can be something they can basically get done. If I was running Jasmy, yes, maybe in the future after they raise enough money, becoming the top 50 or something like that, why wouldn't you want to make it interoperable, fully interoperable with Overledger and so on? Again, you have support for Hyperledger Fabric, but it is what it is. I'm not the ambassador of Jasmy or anything like that. Anyway, that's cool stuff to see that there as well. This other thing I'm going to jump into is some of the more nitty gritty. And on this, you guys have been wondering about some of the things that are mentioned here. So I thought we'd get into it. We have talked about what's going on, with the supply. Some of you guys have been wanting updates. Shout out to Dip Metaverse. I'm telling you flat out, you basically should give him. Why does it say I'm not following him? He follows me. I'll get my follow back. Well, it's because I was basically cleaning up, my Twitter. All right. So this has been on the mind, right? Everybody, right? The token supply and so on. So here's an update from him. And again, this guy's been covering Jasmy probably since its inception. I'll be honest. Dip Metaverse. All right. The final 30 million tokens that were allocated to the ecosystem were put into CS 30 minutes ago. Now, this was, of course, reported today, or yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday, June 30th. I was originally going to cover it with you guys, but by the time we got to it, by the end of the show, there was not that many people. So is it really worth it? Anyway, circulating supply update is this number you see right here, which I believe is 48. What's that? 48 billion? Yeah, 48,449,999,999. Which is 96.9% of the total supply. Now, we do understand eventually we're going to get 100% of the supply out there. So all that remains is the 1.5 billion that is in the deployer wallet. Thanks to Simon Greco. He watches our show, right? He might even be here as we speak, for crying out loud, right? Forza Leche, aka Simon Greco. So I think you might be here. Thank you, sir, for some of this research. And let's blow this up for a bit. I think I'll just make it a little bit bigger, because sometimes it just doesn't come across the screen as big as we like it to come across. All right, so here it is. There's the overview. If you want to nerd it out, you definitely can. By the way, we're up to 52,047 holders. Not too shabby. We understand that the goal of Jasmy is to be way higher than that. But with mass adoption, I think we can get there. All right. But anyway, here's some of the highlights. Like it says, 31 minutes ago. Technically, that was yesterday. All right, from this particular address, and you see some of what's going on here. Okay, it's not that big of a deal. It's just the last percentage of the remaining supply. All right, so I thought I'd show that to you guys. I'm going to jump back to what we have. And where the heck is it? All right, share this tab instead. Yep. And on top of that, it's just a little bit more of what we showed you. Yeah, I thought it was just another page, but I don't know. I mean, it's worth basically sharing, you know. Um, I don't know. Some people obviously there's the fudders, right? So, this guy says, so now what? Time to buy, time to sell. I mean, really? You don't believe in long-term vision? No offense to this guy. You really don't believe in long-term. You're really just into this for swing trading? Anyway, some people are. Seems like this news has caused its value to decrease, buddy. I mean, whatever. Selling their incentive tokens again, thanks to Dip Metaverse and so on. Team working like clockwork, finishing up all dilution before lockup period later in Q5 2024 to 2026. I mean, in reality, I still think the start of it is Q4, unless I'm missing something here, right? But as far as everything being locked up all at once, I'm being honest, guys, and I said this for a long time. I don't think we're going to get a lockup all at once. I think it's going to stretch over a period of time going into 2024. But as far as it's being stretched out to 2026, I don't know. I don't have those answers. I don't think so, right? But at least there will be these lockups over time, and that's big, right? I mean, why not pay attention to this? But I mean, even without the lockups, I still feel as though, I mean, if that was to happen, I don't see that not happening. $1 is more than attainable or achievable. Not financial advice. That's just the way I personally look at it. Of course, with the lockups, with mass adoption, all these things going on, some of the recent developments, like we talked about, like Office, Silicon Valley, that's been confirmed. The secure blockchain or PCs being sold in the United States, that's a big deal. But the key thing is having people access to personal data lockers, using that, because that's the utility being used. We're not to that mass adoption point yet, but all sorts of factors, like even just BTC blasting off up over previous all-time highs of 69K. We get to 100,000 BTC. Can you imagine how much Jasmy be worth in itself, even if you're not invested personally or even own like a sliver or a fragment of BTC? You got to understand how big that is for some of these altcoins, and especially even on Ethereum based things. All right. Before I get back in the comments, there's a lot more that we have in regards to Jasmy. On this next one is going to be in regards to an outline, a thread from Brian, who's at WC3068, and it's a complete outline thread, and it's a lot more in depth in regards to the Avita blockchain PCs. It was a presentation. Again, Dip Metaverse picked up on a very major partnership. I want to talk about that partnership with you guys here in the bit, but this part is pretty long, so I want to keep up with the balance. We're going to kick it back into the comments before we get into that. Please smash that like. Let's go ahead and review some comments that we have. I see that we ticked up to the 40s. Appreciate you guys. Let's see how we're doing the likes. We are currently at 30 likes. We could probably get some more, right? I mean, if anything, does help the broadcast get out there. Like, we don't have no Patreons or anything like that. This show is all, community-driven research and so on. So it's pretty much free for the most part, unless people voluntarily become members and whatnot, which is really cool. All right, give me just a second. And we're going to go into the comments. So, glad people welcome Crypto Jedi that you basically did a while ago. Cash Cats is in the house. He says hello to Michael Montclair. Welcome, Michael Montclair, as well, if I missed you. Rapid Viral says, that's me, but only my right arm is like that. The other one looks normal. Wow. So when you go to the gym, you just like lift with one dumbbell or something? I'm kidding. I know. That's amazing, man. Shout out to you. You're probably going to live to be like 110 years old. You're going to be like one of those guys in those YouTube videos that's like, the guy that puts on the makeup or whatever and tries to make himself look old, but you'll actually be the old guy who's like, doing like 100 chin-ups and all this crazy gymnastics, right? Anyway, that's cool, man. Right on. God knows I need to do more of that stuff myself. All right. If it was the same, it would be boring. Come with some of the degen talk. That's right. It's the weekend. Cool Cat Crypto says Predator. Yep, that's from Predator. Well, at least the avatar from GT. Welcome back to KK. Thank you so much again for the awesome comment you made the other day. I might have skipped it, but when I was reviewing some of the replay, you mentioned that you watched the deep dive twice, man. Like, that's respect right there. Thank you, sir. That's awesome. Menelec says the 3-day IVS 2023 Kyoto event went well for Jasmy. We're going to talk a little bit about that, not like really deep. I thought we would give them the team a chance to put more material out, but got a video for you guys. Of course, the Flyers be like, well, there's nobody in the front row. There's a bunch of empty seats. I don't know. Maybe it was Hara rehearsing and they just wanted to record it. But whatever the case be, it is Hara, and that's cool stuff. Welcome back to Clown Coin. Hi, Max. Been a very, very long time since we've seen you. I'll state this: if your coin's still around, congratulations. You probably, beat out like many different meme token projects out there that didn't survive last year. So if you're still around, shout out to you guys and cool stuff. All right. And on top of that, Quick Jedi, HBAR, Casper are the Ethereum killers. I would agree with that, especially when it comes to Hedera. I don't know. The question is probably not for me. Maybe it's for like Larry or somebody like that. All right. Everybody's saying hello, which is good stuff. Let's go further down. Corey BB says thank you. Very welcome. Blaine said on Predator. Okay. BSV is $50.69. Let me see if I could pull up CMC real quick to see what's going on. We're at 1.20 trillion. Flow is having a pump. Finally. All right. BSV is 28%, down 7% for the day, but at 49.83. So kind of took a little bit of a dip, but that's okay. I mean, it's to be expected. People are going to take some profits, right? The short-term people. Long-term people like myself, I'm not going to do that. All right. Just Casper and chill. Japan's approved list of cryptos came out. Probably get into that some other day, but anyway. Sorbonne is another reason Stellar is a sleeping giant. Yes, I'm glad to see people like yourself following the whole thing with Sorbonne. Sorbonne is huge. All right. Traits so rare, Clown Coin. Let's effing go. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. You guys have been supporting us for a long time, and glad to have you back. All right. Andrew Davis says, Jesse and I are watching the show. Keep up the good work, Max. Oh, well, thanks, man. Definitely appreciate that. Talking about Jesse of KAR Finance or somebody else. All right. Let's use that as a bookmark. Let's see how we're doing on the other screen. Let's see what we got. Elon Musk says, LOL, go research or not. I've been preaching Jasmy since 21 and most time to shine. It's a big deal whether you believe it or not. Numbers and facts don't have emotions. Yeah, I've always known about Jasmy. I mean, the first time I ever heard about it is when I first got into Clearpool, and because of the KuCoin staking. But I'm glad I didn't do the staking. I mean, it was like 50%, which sounds like a lot, but technically speaking, for the price of it at the time. And I did kind of briefly look into it, but when I really heavily looked into it was, I don't know, it's kind of like, what was it, earlier this year? Was it like January or February, something like that? But glad to do so. The point is not like, your entry point of when you did the research. It's just knowing what it's about and where they're going and staying that course, if you will. Some fudder the other day responded, and I don't respond to the fudders. I don't even comment because it just is stupid. But basically, he was pointing out, he's like, yeah, this typical shiller, referring to me, he bought at all-time highs, and that's why he keeps shilling us. And I'm like, oh, if you only knew, I actually bought more towards the bottom, and I'm in the profits. But, if I even take a screenshot and point towards that, then that gives him like what he wants. And I don't want to do that. I don't even want to acknowledge those guys because it's just ridiculous. You don't know some of these guys either, right? No offense to anybody. But some of these guys, they're only interested in their own personal agenda. And that is to short, for instance, Jasmy. You know what I mean? They're not about a community. They're about wrecking communities. And think about it. They are all about their own personal, selfish interests. You could care less about if Andrew Davis or, Mike Cornwell or, Simon Greco and Cash Cats and all you guys out here that consistently follow Jasmy, they're like, the hell with these guys. I'm never going to meet these guys. I don't know about these. I don't know these guys. I could care less. Their main agenda is just for their own personal interests. And I'm not about that. If I was about that, why would I even bother doing a show and stuff like that? But obviously these guys got it all figured out, right? I bought the all-time high. I bought the Jasmy at $4.50 or whatever it was, and I'm wrecked. And apparently this is my only token. Forget all the 47 other cryptocurrency projects I'm into. This is the only one I'm into. I'm a Jasmy maxi. I mean, it's just like I don't even give into that. I saw somebody else give into like having a back and forth conversation with a particular flutter. It's just not worth it. I'm just being honest. And then some people are like, well, why don't you just block some of those guys? They can still reply to the thread, right? I just don't see it. It's just like, so what's the point? Anyway. All right, let's jump back into what we have for the outline. It's going to get better, and I'll show you why it's going to get better right now. So here it is from Brian. And I'm telling you, he's another guy you want to follow if you're on crypto Twitter. He's good friends with Zippy, right? These guys do the Twitter, I don't know, we call it like Twitter Spaces and stuff like that. They're very heavily involved in AMAs, doing the deep, what do you call it? The heavy lifting, right? Long before I did. All right, I'll blow this up just a little bit. All right, so this is the thread, and we'll get into some key things. I'm going to try my best not to just read everything. But let's start off with this, all right? So Hara shared the Avita blockchain PC PDF presentation. Of course, Dip Metaverse picked up on a very major partnership. We're going to get into what exactly that is. So it says upcoming Avita blockchain PC models designed by IP3 Technology, Xinjiang technology out of Shanghai. Let's dive in. Okay, so we know that there's that other guy, not is always connected with Hara. I keep on want to call him Akashi, but that's that. You know what I'm talking about. He starts with an A. It's just sometimes some of the names kind of just go past me, especially when it's foreign names. I'm just going to be honest. I mean, sometimes a lot of it sounds similar, but not quite. You know what I'm talking about. The ambassador from China, right? He's always with Hara. But yeah, let's do that. Let's dive in a little bit. So you see some of this tech, and if you're wondering, why is it called IP3 Technology? I mean, it's just the name of the company. But they're teamed up with Avita, and it says upcoming Avita blockchain PC models designed by IP3 Technology. I know cool cats watching this like, oh, Jasmy's just a bunch of garbage just built on an Ethereum. They use IP3 technology. They should be using BSV's IP6, IPv6, a totally different thing. It's not even, it's just a coincidence, if you will. Okay. So let's just pump the brakes a little bit, my friend. I'm not saying you're saying that, just kind of saying that you're saying that. Anyway, let's go to the next page. Okay. I'm gonna blow this part up a little bit bigger because this part, is definitely worth paying attention to. Let's blow this up as much as we can. It's nice and big. Here's the company profile. And on this one, I want to show you guys just a little bit about this. So here it is from IP3 Technology. Again, this is one of the partners. And, what's mentioned here is, I probably will read a lot of it verbatim, to be honest. All right. So they're founded in 2013. So basically been around for, I think, a little over 10 years now. Xinjiang Technology originated in Shanghai, China. On top of that is a national high-tech enterprise and a one-stop solution provider for global consumer electronics and intelligent networking products. It specializes in the R&D, design, manufacturing, and operational services of intelligent software and hardware products types company. Now think about this. This is a no-brainer, right? If they are, specializing in this intelligent software and hardware products type company, this, of course, represents what? The Internet of Things. And as we know, Jasmy is all about the Internet of Things. So if anything, it's kind of like Forrest Gump and Jenny. They go together like peas and carrots. Products cover notebook computers, tablet computers. I mean, again, it just kind of makes sense. If you have a deal with Avita, you're going to have probably needed to make a deal with, Shanghai, China, this particular company, a partnership. But yes, products cover notebook computers, tablet computers, mini PCs, all-in-one computers, PC peripherals, servers. That's cool. I mean, I do a lot of server work part-time. IoT, Internet things, industrial control, and other intelligent terminal products, and are also the core service provider of global x86 platform solutions. A little bit more background on them. Yingzhong Technology has always been committed to promoting global technological product innovation and technological change. Its business involves supercomputing servers, and here's the juicy stuff. Let's just be honest. Smart cities. Think about that for a second. Even smart offices. I mean, it goes on and on about this. Give me a second to pull this up a little more. Smart education, smart finance, smart transportation, smart industry, smart retail, smart medical care, for crying out loud, smart communications, etc. Now, I want to talk about this for just a brief moment. Obviously, smart cities, but everything that's listed here is totally part of Society 5.0, 100%. So now you're starting to see the idea in the past, excuse me, in the past, we would bring you guys these updates in regards to Society 5.0 and the concept, right? A lot of times it was just focused on the concept of Jasmy's going to be, at the table, if you will, when it comes to being one that will be part of kind of like a team, like when we talk about, a major motion picture, right? Hollywood. Is there just one person that makes that movie? No, there's actors, there's directors, there's producers, and so on. All right. So my thing is this: we have talked about the idea of Jasmy with their technology towards, contributing towards Society 5.0, the concept of smart cities and so on. But the main focus here, and why this is the juicy stuff, is because finally you're seeing in, I guess you could say, like, this thing's come full circle, that there's this company, and what are they called again? They are called Yingzhong Technology, right? And they are the ones that are part of, like, wow, this is Society 5.0 finally coming together. It's one thing that, Jasmy, like some people say, this is speculative. Is this really speculative anymore? Because if you have a key partnership that allows for the smart cities, the smart offices, the smart everything, basically, and like my last deep dive, remember we're talking about the the medical ID cards in Japan, and we talked about that Jasmy connection, right? Again, you're starting to see all this come together, right? So why would people want to jump on board for something like this when it's well over $1? But we know those are the apes, and aping is part of FOMO. Okay, so let's get more into this for a second. Yingzhong Technology has more than 1,200 employees. On top of that, they have R&D personnel. They account for more than 60%. They have also this thing set up in which 6 R&D centers and 4 intelligent production bases around the world. It has a global industrial chain, ecological closed loop integrating production, R&D, sales, and service, more than 100 countries, regions around the world. So at the end of the day, when we talked about Transcosmos in the past, and we're still going to talk about Transcosmos, understand that this is another key player, because now you're serving, all sorts of business sectors around the world. And the key thing is using, for instance, Jasmy's technology of the personal data lockers and so on. This is, again, a perfect example of how we get mass adoption. How long do we have in regards to this accumulation phase? I don't know. Maybe it's a ticking time bomb in a positive way, right? But for me, my bags are more than packed. At this point, it's just gravy from here, right? Because I reached some of my goals. If you haven't reached your goals, hey, that's your own personal decision. I understand that. But this is some pretty cool things to share with you guys. We have a little bit more in regards to this. Let me see what we have on the next page. Yeah, we got just a tad bit more. I'll get into this. I believe this comes from Mentellect. So I'll just share this real quick. And then after this, we'll get into another piece of what we have from Hara. All right, so shout to Menelect. He did tweet this, I believe, 2 days ago. All right, still valid. He did a translation from Japanese. Cool stuff. So let's blow this up. Let me double check if you can see this on the screen. You can. It says from 15:30 today, as in 2 days ago, technically speaking, he will be on stage at the crypto stage in the center of the third floor next zone of IVS 2023, right? That's already happened. We know that IVS Crypto 2023 has a diamond sponsor of let's face it, a premier project that we cover here all the time with Ripple. Right, Ripple's XRP. So Ripple is the diamond sponsor, and please don't get it twisted. This does not mean that they are a partner. I've seen so many people in the comments of our recorded deep dives say, "Oh, awesome! Jasmy's partnered with Ripple." No. They're a diamond sponsor of the event. That would be awesome. Don't get me wrong. We would love that, but that's not the case. Okay, but still. You've seen, for instance, Hara standing next to one of the signs. I mean, just anything to even be mentioned in the same breath with Ripple, that's, of course, is a positive catalyst. It's huge, right? So it says, we, Jasmy, set data democracy as our vision and launched our business developing and deploying blockchain PCs. And we will raise the vision of finance democracy in the newly established subsidiary called Jasmy Lab. Now, before we were thinking that they were called Jasmy Labs, but it has been confirmed it is Jasmy Lab. That URL that you saw before that a lot of us thought was a fake site called jasmylab.jp or something like .co.jp, something like that. That is actually the real site. It says, which promotes the token ecosystem. He would like more companies and businesses to create their own economic zone where there are continuous relationships with customers that cannot be created with crowdfunding. And although they do not have the same rights and shareholders as creditors, we want to grow our business through dialogue. It will be the last day just before the end, but you don't mind. I would appreciate if you could visit. But the point is, them as in Jasmy, Hara, representing them, it's more than just talking about data democracy. Technically speaking, finance democracy is a new thing that they're introducing. Now, of course, for me, myself, I'd rather take more of a deep dive into it instead of elaborating on it. Maybe you guys are more caught up on that than I am, but nonetheless, pretty cool stuff, especially to have that shared over at IVS 2023. I thought I would jump into the comments, but you know what? I'm going to just get into this real quick because I think this is going to round it out. It is, so I might as well just go ahead and do it. This is from Jasmy AI, who is Hey Samuel Kim. And this is in regards to, let me just double check if you can see it. You can. Please smash that like if you haven't done so, especially if you just connected. But he says data plus finance democracy, kind of like what we were just talking about, right? It says Jasmy, CFO, throwing it down on the main stage. Check out the auto translation. Okay. So we're going to blow this up for you. And for a lot of people, this is big because this is a lot more than just Hara in the top right corner of a screen where you can barely see him, or, where it shows him like on camera for 3 seconds on a trailer, right? This is him actually talking. Okay. And I understand that, we were looking at like the front row and there's no chairs. Again, it could have been, he's just rehearsing. We don't know that. Okay. But whatever the case be, for all the people or flutters who are saying that this guy's not real, wow, how full of crap are they? Okay, let's play this. This comes again from the IVS Crypto 2023 conference in Kyoto, Japan, and its diamond sponsor is Ripple. Smash that like. Here we go. トークンを通じた出資、投資をさせていただくというコミュニティの運営をさせていただいています。また、ジャスミンというのは、実はトルコ、ベトナムというところに大きいコミュニティがあります。特にトルコというのは自国の通貨が少し相場の変動が激しいというところがあったりですとか、また日本企業に非常に強い関心、またすごい好意、親日の国でもあります。そういうところに対して少しずつ知見、またトークンを通じた出資、投資をさせていただくと。All right, so obviously it doesn't zoom in all the way if you can see the words on the screen, but the point is, it's Hara. What's there not to like about that, right? So anyway, that is going to conclude the Jasmy segment. We might have a little bit more later, possibly, no guarantees. But I do thank you for being here and checking that out. We're going to get into the comments again after this. I do believe we have quite a big update in regards to Casper, and then after that, we're going to get into some algo, BSV, and I'm going to refresh to see if our weekly update in regards to investor place is done. Nope, it still has that 404 error, which is too bad. Maybe they're still updating it, but yeah, let's get back in the comments. So Dave D says he smashed it. Thank you very much for smashing that like. We have, what is this? What the heck is this? Pineapple Mafia? That can't be Mango Mafia? I don't know. I think that's what it is. I guess. I don't know what the heck that is. Pineapple or mango or something. From GF Burke, the one, the only. All right, let me see where I'm at on the comments. Welcome to Monica McFadden. Glad to have you here. I know that you've been posting a lot on the recorded. That's really cool. Always puts a smile on my face to see people come from the recording to the live show. So I do appreciate you. Thank you for being here, Monica McFadden. We do have other ladies who watch our show. Obviously, Mrs. Michael April Cornwell, Brittany, a few others, right? Sobo. I don't know if Sobo's watching on the weekends, but anyway. All right, let me see where I'm at on the last comment. Don't want to skip too much. There we go. All right. Hopefully I just highlight that. Yeah, I could highlight that and making sure I didn't skip any comments or like super chats, stuff like that. No getting super chats is okay. I just don't want to skip one. Like, what's the point of sending super chat if Max reads it an hour later, right? I would agree. All right. Traits Sorare says, hey guys. Hey. Bro F Jasmy. Well, keep it clean. I mean, you're welcome to say that, but if you're promoting Clown Coin but say F Jasmy, I don't know. To me, that doesn't make sense, but you're welcome to be here. All right, let's see where we're at. Ripple or Rapid Viral. That's crazy. That is trending. Makes sense though. Yeah. Corey Beebe. Stellar has a CFTC chairman. Yeah, that's pretty bullish in itself. All right. Let's go further down. Menelec says Japan has a data protection national strategy, and Jasmy looks like it will be key player in Japan's data protection goals. See, Menelec always has the great info, you know what I mean? And that's why your Twitter is just blown up something fierce, and that's awesome. All right, GS says, who voted on 2-bit survey? Who would you get a beer with? I don't even know what you're talking about, but that sounds cool. All right, Tim Shea, hey MD008. All right, MD0078 says hello. Selma Fuss says waiting on Brian to patent that pink taco Inu bubblegum. Annie Rock, welcome back. Says hey guys, you guys are trying to promote Alchemy Pay, and let's go further down. Let's see here. Bro, there's 100 better coins to talk about than Jasmy, but yet you shill Clown Coin. Jasmy has this huge supply. They are dumping. So you're like the typical flutter. All right, well, we welcome, I guess, some of your, hey, you help contribute towards the viewership here. Let me ask you something. Do you know about data democratization? Do you know about all the conferences they've been at? Do you know about some of the, the use cases of Jasmy? Or do you just look at the supply, you look at the previous all-time highs, you just basically think it's a piece of crap? So, but to each his own. Too many blockchains are doing rugs like this. Okay. Yeah, but it's all right. You're more than welcome to watch the show. You help contribute to our platform, so thank you. All right, let's go here. I'm gonna skip some of these comments. No offense. All right, Menelec says Jasmy Inc.'s lockup will push the price sometime in Q3 as FOMO ramps up in anticipation. Talk about what am I? A trained monkey or something like that? I'll talk about it in a little bit. All right, Elon Musk. Imagine coming to graduation at science school and telling people 1+1 = 3. Yeah, time to go research, Jasmine. I would agree. All right, Menelect. Evita Blockchain PC is the MacBook of blockchain PCs. Corey Baby says MasterCard looks to improve blockchain interoperability with multi-token network. And oh no, if you go after that guy, you may want to. I'm just giving you a heads up. I mean, if you want to bring it, he'll definitely bring it when it comes to the research. So I would advise you to tread lightly. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Blackwood saw a video with a guy who's 114 years old. My God, looks like he's in his 60s. You know, a lot of people who I guess live in like Okinawa, Japan. I mean, I guess they have like the longest life expectancy. Great health and stuff. I mean, it's just something in like their food that they use. I don't know if it's the oils or whatever. Holding Jasmy for the long term. Yeah, me too. I mean, I'm not making a big deal about like, especially like think about all the flutters that scared people when Jasmy went down to like, was it 0.0032, because of the whole thing that happened with Binance and so on. Talk about a blessing in disguise. And then what happened from there? We know about the whole thing about, Binance, US. There's tons of other great projects around Binance US. So in reality, that was a blessing in disguise. All right. Please smash that like. We're over 50 people. Do appreciate that. Cash Cat says only into Jasmy because of Max. The more I learn, the more I buy. On my way to 1 million. Well, it's not financial advice, but I do appreciate that people appreciate the content and so on. I'm not pointing a gun to anybody's heads or anything like that. Obviously, we talk more than just Jasmy, but I mean, we talk Jasmy, we talk QNT. Everything that's tagged here is what we talk about and so on. Thanks for the clarity on IOTA, Max. Yeah, no problem. That was yesterday's show, I believe. All right. Let's see where we're at. Monica McFadden says, "Hey guys, nice to see you. Usually not up in this late. I'll catch the reruns." Oh yeah, appreciate that, Monica. Thank you. Eiffel Tower in the background. I'm gonna read just a few more comments, and we'll kick it back to the outline. Lol. Go research or not. I've been preaching Jasmy since 20. I did read this a while back. So that's what you're talking about. Because the other people are here. Triple C, what is Ordi at right now? You know what? Let's take a look at what Ordi is at real quick. I do believe it's part of my watch list. Good old Ordi. At $6.43, down 19%. I don't know. Maybe I finally make a position. It's one I've been considering. All right. I do agree. Sorbonne could be the ETH killer. It's absolutely huge for Stellar. Always like getting some Sorbonne updates. Even here's another thing. I don't know if it was OG Crypto that mentioned this. So if you've been following the whole thing with Cubist, right? Like Cubist is not like a token, but in itself, it's a very like original type of thing that solves something that obviously it needs to be solved. We did a deep dive in regards to it like a while back. But it's in a thing that's exclusive to Stellar, but there's just so many great things being built on Stellar is the main point. All right. Magic Power says, hello, guten Tag, Liechtenstein Exchange. Jasmy in the house. All right. And Ahmed, welcome. All right. We're going to kick it back into the outline. Let's see how we're doing on the other screen. Glad to have you guys here. And let's pull this up. So here it is. Well, not quite yet. Hold on a second. There it is. Casper. Let's pull this up. Oh, you shouldn't be talking about Casper. Oh, there's 100+ blockchains way better than Casper. Casper has they don't have a total supply as make a firm. Stop talking. All right. I get what I'm saying. I'm having a little fun too. I got fun, just like the next guy. All right. Tokenizer, right? We've had him on a guest on the show, probably like the goat of research. I know some people give me some nice compliments, but in reality, I am not the goat. Okay. But to me, Tokenizer is the goat when it comes to real research. He doesn't just focus on one. So, he literally covers quite a few. Casper, QNT, render, you name it, right? He's just killing it, Morpheus network. I mean, I could go on and on, right? If you want some info about true research, different blockchain projects, distributed ledger technologies, Tokenizer is the guy to go with. At Tokenizer, you can follow him. Let's jump into this. So he states, seeing that Casper is listed with these telecom leaders in China, absolutely massive. How is this massive? Well, like he says, something tells me that Chengdu chain they're building with BSN will only be the start of their ventures in building out DLT infrastructure within China. This is one of the biggest DLT collaborations. Let's blow this up. Shows all industries are welcome to join the ecology of distributed business. And as you can see here, Casper is part of this mix. And I mean, look at this. You got Visa of, I guess you could say of China. I mean, that's basically what that is. Union Pay, China Mobile, China Telecom, obviously BSN. I mean, I don't know. In my opinion, it's a big deal. I think he obviously recognizes that it's a big deal. There's more that was reported here back on January 23rd. And I'll just pull this up for just a brief moment. Kevin Cage, which we know him and X Frontier are probably the two biggest content creators for consistently putting out Casper updates. Back on January 23rd, Kevin Cage made a thread and it highlighted some of these things. And again, it's nice to jump back to the past to get things validated, right? So even back in January 23rd of 2023, when my gaming group went 21 years, they announced this partnership of Casper, of, for instance, China's blockchain-based service network, BSN. And yeah, like I said, founded in spring of 2020 by Red Date Technology. How about this? The BSN deployed more than 120 public city nodes across China. This last part, China is basically a major player in the global evolution of Web3. I mean, massive stuff. Even with their old logo, Casper Labs will power distributed digital certificates and blockchain applications in Fuzhou, China. BSN, like it's highlighted right there, chooses Casper Labs as the blockchain service provider of a major southeastern Chinese port city. So again, it's just a little bit more of that validation. And that was, oh man, over 6 months ago, right? So that's pretty big stuff. And this guy says source. He already gave you the source. All right. On this next part, this is the supreme outline, okay? So you're going to have various clips here, all right? And again, this is from X Frontier. Give him a follow at the X Frontier. Casper vision has been the same basically since day zero. You do see this lovely lady here. I think she's the CEO of Casper Network. It says no hype, no gimmick marketing, just building real value enterprise and governments. This is a thread. Please smash that like. We're going to get into quite a few of this, but I'm telling you flat out, X Frontier did a really, really good job with this outline. So we're going to play a little bit of this for you guys. I'm going to take off some things off of the HUD just to kind of help with the visuals real quick. Let me just do that real quick. Here we go. All right. Please smash that like. Here we go.
Has been a little bit of a running theme with Casper, right? We are not in search of the hype cycle. We don't want to be labeled with the hype cycle, right? Because it doesn't help us. We want to gain legitimacy, and that takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to actually deliver value to the enterprise.
The industry design is broken. Think about how a typical blockchain company is funded. It's not like a software company. They issue a bunch of tokens, they give it to the founders, and these vest over 3 years, and then everyone disappears, which means you have 3 years to create as much hype. And so people chase things like monkey pictures, yield farms, etc., as opposed to the enterprise and government sales cycle, which is, call it 5 to 10 years.
You saw the hype cycle, the trough of disillusionment, and then you see now the builders that are going to build. It's a long and arduous grind of companies that continue to find use cases and real world utility in the new technology.
And we're really excited about enterprise adoption because we believe it will not be a hype boom bust cycle, but rather sustainable, real growth, real use cases.
There's an opportunity out there that is incredibly large that everyone's ignoring in the space because we've made a set of bad assumptions and we've not set ourselves to be long-term thinkers. If you think about the enterprise and government market for blockchain, the estimate is by 2030, trillions of dollars of value are going to be created.
All right, so there's some more in regards to this. I was thinking that that part got cut off, but actually it didn't. We're going to jump into this next part of this. Give me a second to reshare this. Here we go. All right, so on top of this
has been a little bit.
Oh, sorry about that. It's this part right here, and again, the nice thing about it is this. All right, let me see if you can see this the right way. I'll come back into the frame. All right, yeah, you can't see it the right way, so that's good. So basically speaking, it's highlights, right? We all want some of the highlights, you know. Like, I apologize last night. You know, you guys got some of that like college lecture type thing about Hedera, but for those who follow stuff like that pretty closely, maybe you appreciate it. But nonetheless, on this one, it's just all of the real cool, juicy highlights, right? In regards to the recent AMA from this lady, right? Medha Parlikar. She's the CTO. I said she's the CEO. She's the CTO of Casper Labs, right? And it was hosted by D.Fi, the world's first Web3 antivirus and super app. I mean, I don't use an antivirus. My thing is, as long as I don't go to sites I'm not supposed to go to, right? I shouldn't have any problems, right? That's just my bottom line. You know, some people still have to feel as though they got to use like Norton, they got to use McAfee, whatever. It's just not really my thing. I mean, I think in the past I used to use like Microsoft, was it Windows and SME or whatever, teach his own, right? There's some other ones. But whatever the case be, I mean, some people are going to be right on board for the concept of a Web3 antivirus. This is, you know, it's a reality. But anyway, here's all the key highlights. And of course, you could have watched the whole thing if you choose to do so. But I'm being honest, who doesn't just want the quick highlights? So we're going to give you the highlights after this. We'll jump into the comments. So I'm just going to kind of rapid fire through a lot of these. Let's go. Smash the like. Here we go.
I actually believe consensus protocols will be commoditized. My posit is that consensus protocols will ultimately be commoditized.
Yep.
I feel like that the space will ultimately, you know, coalesce around a few consensus protocols. Like, these are the ones that are robust, they're performant. And we're in a position from an architecture perspective to adopt any of that research into Casper, right?
Nice.
So we're kind of consensus agnostic, right? I believe that the real winner is going to be the virtual machine. So the reason we continue to invest in the Casper WebAssembly virtual machine with newer features and features that are compelling to the enterprise and to use cases, because we believe the protocol needs to enforce these things, and that will be the ever widening gap. I actually believe consensus.
All right, I'm going to pull up some of the other things that we have. Again, June 28th, Web 2 versus Web 3, and how does Casper fit? I mean, this is good stuff. I mean, a lot of people ask about some of these things because, I mean, in reality, we're not in a full Web 3 anyway. You know, technically speaking, we're like, I guess you could say, like in a Web 2.5. All right, so let's play this as well. Here we go.
The Web 2 stack is deficient in that there isn't trust in the Web 2 stack. Right, there is limited trust because it's all centrally controlled, and you hear a lot about this. Now, one of the things that I find really intriguing is this entire notion of a Web3 stack.
Yep.
And in a lot of the protocols and projects that you talk to, especially the Ethereum, the EVM flavor, you have to have this whole Web3 stack that sits alongside your Web2 stack. Well, what makes the Casper protocol unique is there is no Web3 stack. It's just Rust and your existing DevOps pipeline. So you don't need a Web3 stack. When I talk about interoperability and blockchain and Web3, I'm much, much more interested in interoperating with the Web2 stack. That's what's important for enterprise, right? Because you can't retrain your developers. You can't change your tooling. You have to be able to iterate rapidly. You have to be able to build, test, deploy, all using computers. The Web2 stack is deficient in that.
All right. And then on top of that, this is really good stuff too. Let me see if I'm in the frame. I am. So I'm telling you flat out, it's not every day we get to cover Casper, but this was so well put together. At least it is in my opinion. I don't know. Maybe some of you guys think that this is boring. But again, if you want to learn more about Casper, this just gets to all the highlights. I mean, again, X Frontier, this is like one of the best threads he ever made, in my opinion. So what are some of the key features of the Casper network? Like what it brings to Web3? Some of us know some of this, some of us don't, especially if you're new to Casper. High security, powerful account model, some of the other pin things, weighted keys and transaction thresholds, multi-sig key recovery, upgradable contracts, right? You have a smart contract. Is it upgradable? When we talk about scaling, how about being able to scale like your smart contract, right? So this one's a minute 4. Let's pull this up, and this answers all these key things. Here we go.
Yep. Right. So the protocol, the underlying protocol gives you security. That's the most important thing it does. And it gives you immutability, and it gives you some guarantees around who did what when. Right? You think about, what does a blockchain do? It tells you who did what when. So therefore, I feel like one of the most important things a blockchain has to have, like any enterprise application, is a really powerful account model. Powerful account model that lets you create virtually any kind of permissioning scheme you want. And the protocol enforces that, right? So the notion of any other block, like if you look at any other blockchain, this notion of an account is just an address. And this becomes very interesting. You can recover keys. You can have complex multi-signature, as complex as you want, with weights and thresholds. This can be applied to contracts that those accounts manage. And of course, we have upgradable smart contracts, where you want guarantees. If a contract has been upgraded, that version has to be visible on chain. You don't get to hide the version. And version contracts, strongly versioned contracts, are not available on any other protocol. Right? And the protocol enforces it.
I'm going to take a moment to basically talk about that for a moment. So you may feel as though that's just, so what? That's not a big deal. It's a big deal because if anything, it's less of vulnerabilities happening on the contract, right? You don't want a perfect case. And we've seen this, it doesn't matter if it's necessarily blockchain, you name it, like for instance, hackers, they're going to go after the one that has more vulnerability. There's also, of course, upgrades that can happen. As the saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But you like the idea that they can't hide this, like she mentioned, from the public eye. There is these true upgrades, and it reflects that on chain. I'm gonna get into the next one, and this one's more or less like a picture. I think you guys can see it in the frame. You do. It states basically, in my opinion, 2 of the most undervalued reasons why Casper can be very successful in adoption. Casper network, account and governance model. I'm not gonna get into that full piece, but this right here gets a little bit more into, back to what we were talking about in regards to like some of these highlights. So again, what was it, 3 days ago? Today's July 1st. Happy 4th of July weekend. If you want to call it, 4th of July weekend. Some of you guys may get Monday off. I don't know. Another feature is the professional services offered to enterprises by Casper Labs. Here is, again, Meta Parlacar detailing an example on this feedback loop with IPWE. If you've done your research on IPWE, you understand that that's huge in itself. I think our most viewed video was the Casper IPWE deep dive. So we're going to play this as well. This one's only 38 seconds. Here we go.
What makes Casper super interesting is we continuously work with enterprises, and we're able to propose, Casper Labs works with enterprises, and we're able to propose these enhancements to the Casper virtual machine. And so the recent groups in contract group capability to see who signed a transaction and then translate that into capabilities in the contract, that came from feedback working with, IPWE. They had a very specific workflow where they wanted a lawyer to be able to adjudicate a patent and a paralegal to be able to do something else. Right. And they're like, we want to be able to manage this all in contract. It's like, great, we'll add that capability to the VM. If it's useful for you, it's going to be useful for somebody else as well. What makes Casper super interesting is we continuously work with enterprise.
All right. And then on top of that, there's a few more. I do like this one. I'm going to pause it. Hold on a second. And it says, what other capabilities does the Casper architecture allow? So it's like, we know about some of the typical ones. Is there other ones? Well, of course there's some other ones, It's just like even when we talked about with Jasmy in the past, or even the recent, I should say, does the project have multiple layers of utility? Here's a perfect example. But this talks about the architecture. So let's go ahead and play this as well. Only about a minute. Here we go.
Transfers of CSPR on mainnet are native. So you can do native token transfers at very, very high rates of speed because the function is native to the protocol, not running on chain, so to speak. And our architecture allows us to bring more capabilities host side, right? So one of the things that is on our roadmap is to offer native DeFi and native NFT capability, right? Which would bring the Casper NFT standard basically onto the host. And then you would have a series of host side commands to, make a new NFT contract with a certain set of parameters, right? To mint NFTs in that contract. So it would be just native and it would be very, very fast. And we would be able to allow for in every single block a certain number of NFT transactions, a certain number of token transfers, a certain number of staking transactions, ensuring that there isn't any attack surface that one could fill up blocks and prevent staking transactions, as an example, right? They would each have their own swim lane.
All right, I didn't mean to stop the screen. Give me just a second. Let me see how many more we have on this. We have at least a couple more. All right. Give me a second. Yeah, here we go. Let's jump back to this. My bad. All right. How does Casper handle smart contract composability on chain? Here we go.
I mean, think about it, right? Your dependencies are all running on chain. You're not able to run that smart contract without running a full node. How the heck do you build something reliably when you're depending on chain state, right? And the answer is two features that Casper offers. One, we offer debugging against mainnet. With the 1.5 release, you'll actually be able to speculatively run your contracts against the mainnet global state. That's huge, right? The second thing is you can build your contracts incrementally. So my first version of my contract, maybe it does something really small. I run speculative execution on it. I test it. It runs fine locally. I deploy it to mainnet. Now I can test all of my dependencies, right? And make sure, okay, I'm happy with my .1 version, right? My first version. Now I'm going to add more features to it. And I do the same thing. And I can build up my contract, against mainnet. I can actually do that incrementally and build up the versions until I feel like it's ready for launch. And that's when I put a user interface in front of it. I'm rolling out a release inside an enterprise, and my consumers can choose to accept that new release when they're ready, if and when they're ready. If they want to test against it in a pre-production environment, they can test against the future version until they feel comfortable with, taking on the new dependency. It's really the workflow that's always been in software, right?
All right, and then this part. Basically, how does Casper handle governance? I mean, how many times have we talked about governance last night? I think we talked about with Nixera, especially, right? Well, what about Casper? Let's play this as well. 46 seconds. Here we go.
Think of maybe you build a hierarchy where you say, okay, in this DAO, let's think about scale, right? When you think about scale, in this DAO, we have 100,000 members, but those 100,000 members could be made up of 1,000 consortia. And in those 1,000 consortia, maybe you've got, 100 consortia, and then in each 100 consortia, we have 100 people, right? So maybe you've got 100 people that then vote on something that rolls up to a transaction, that then rolls up to another transaction, that then rolls up. But you could actually do this all with weighted keys to say, okay, we need a 2/3 threshold at one level, at the individual level, maybe a 50% consortia at this level, and a 50%. So you could actually build that all on chain just using the account model. That's right. Think of
Sorry about that. Yeah, I was trying to come back in the frame. These other questions are also need to be addressed as well. I mean, again, this is like the ultimate thread. We're almost towards the bottom, but you know, some of you guys asked this stuff, right? So how do you approach resource pricing in Casper? And if anything, like, how do you keep that competitive, et cetera, et cetera? I do believe she covers the competitive side. I may be wrong on this one. But yeah, at the end, how do you approach resource pricing on Casper? Great question, right? Minute and 10 seconds. Smash that like. Here we go.
Yeah, definitely. So, you know, when I think about resource pricing, I think about opcodes, right? So these are specific opcodes that run in the virtual machine and how much do they cost? And really the pricing of opcodes has to do with the amount of effort it takes for execution of that opcode, right? So for example, you know, you don't want to have an opcode that is, if it's underpriced, it could, you know, result in resource exhaustion before the block time is elapsed. Yep. Right. So that's like one rubric. So we express like a lot of the opcodes in terms of, you know, it's how much time, how much computation time it actually takes for the nodes to run that opcode, right? Yep. So that for me is like a very big rubric, right? So if you want to drop prices, what you need is a faster execution engine, right? Which is a big area of focus for Casper. It's a WASM-based execution engine. You know, we're using parity WASM now, which is too slow, in my opinion. It's the slowest part of the system today is parity WASM. And we are looking at alternative WASM runtimes. We have some really good ones that will help, you know, help speed up execution of smart contracts, which will allow us to drop prices for Casper.
Okay, and on top of that, there's this right here. It says with Casper 2.0, let me rewind this. Users will not need to acquire tokens to pay for transactions. A subscription-based model seems to be the approach Casper is taking. I mean, you know, we talk about, for instance, Quant's Overledger, the OVN network, and so on. We talk about how, I mean, technically speaking, that's like a membership in itself. You pay an annual subscription. So you have access to Quant's Overledger operating system and so on, right? Well, what about with Casper? You know, a subscription-based model. Well, it does seem to be the approach that they're taking. Why does that matter? Let's jump into this for a brief bit.
That's not the way the world works today. And it's not the way the world should work in Web3. That means I sign my transaction. I can prove on the blockchain I sign my transaction, but I should not have to acquire token in order to do so. And the way Casper is going to solve that problem is with Casper 2.0, where we're going to unify contracts and accounts into a single entity. And basically what will happen is then contracts will have an account from which they can pay for transactions. And so what you'll be able to do is sign a transaction if you're executing a contract, and the contract will in essence pay for that transaction itself. Nice. And this basically obviates the user from needing to acquire any token at all in order to complete the transaction.
Super important. Incredibly important.
Incredibly important. It's probably like the number one thing that needs to be solved is, you know, this requirement to acquire token in order to transact. And it's just not the model, right? Like people have a subscription service and they get a certain number of transactions in a subscription service. They use their credit card to pay for it. And then after that, you do want to see all of my transactions, but I shouldn't have to pay anything beyond that or acquire any token beyond that.
Okay. Let's see here. I think this is the final one. We're going to jump into this. If you're aware of, for instance, let me double check that I'm not muted. That would suck. All right. Smash the like button if you haven't done so already. Like I said, we're trying to get this out to a broader base. Let's see how long we were into the show, an hour and 19 minutes. I know this is quite the detailed segment for Casper, but again, we don't get to cover Casper as much as we like to. So if you followed, for instance, Zilliqa, right? They also have a sharding mechanism. No, not the Hershey squirts, sharding with a D, right? The ability to scale blockchains basically on Casper. The email thread about it, but I don't want to get into this because this is quite the outline anyway. Just trying to get to the good stuff, right? The visuals. Gotta love the guy on the right, right? Yep, sure, yep. But anyway, it's because it was taken from the highlights. It's not going to talk much about it anyway. She's providing all the the main answers for what people were asking in some of these AMAs and so on. Anyway, under a minute, let's play the last bit of this outline. Here we go.
So I look at sharding in two different ways. So composite sharding or side chains. So we are definitely, the Casper Association and the community is definitely looking at a side chain implementation. We already have this notion of a Casper bridge. We've also been looking at the IBC protocol, right, and using Cosmos as a potential bridge for side chains. That may be the first implementation. So side chains is definitely top of mind. Yep. Composite sharding, we have done some research around, memory space allocation for specific contracts to allow for the base blockchain to be sharded. But we feel like there's significant opportunities still on Casper. We don't have blocks that are full yet. Yep. So again, much like rent, right? We don't have the global state float yet, and we don't have to worry about full blocks as yet. Yep. It's a great problem to have. Yep. And then we can start looking at, really expanding into side chains and then composite sharding as well.
Okay. Yeah.
So
all right, so really glad to share that with you guys. I think I've gone ahead and, I already went ahead and retweeted this, which is cool stuff. Glad to share it with you guys. The next segment that we'll get into is Algorand. Okay, so if anything, I'm going to jump back to the comments finally. Last one's at 6:54, which is basically almost an hour ago from Ahmed. And Blackwood says, shame they don't sell tard repellent. I know you're referring to. Yeah. All right. Stardog, glad to have you here as always. Appreciate you, man. Glad to have you here, Mr. Stardog. You better sell Cool Cat, he says. All right. Let's go further down. And we got Michael Montclair. PayPay gets to 0.0004. He's selling and buying more XRP. That's not a bad idea, right? Nothing wrong with doing a power swap. GT, Max, have you used the Arculus wallet? No. I originally was thinking about doing that, and then I saw some of what you guys were saying, not necessarily you specifically, but other members of our community and so on. I watched some independent reviews from people that are obviously not sponsored, guys just kind of like myself who just, they used the product, they wanted to see what it was like and so on. I mean, the issue is I would like to use that. I like the concept of it, the ease of access. I think that's the main selling point of it compared to using like a traditional ledger. The problem is there's just not enough support for it. There's not enough, tokens and coins. It's just, the stereotypical, like, was it like the top 50 or whatever? I mean, it's just, that's not going to do it for me. Maybe in the future they get more, I guess you could say, contracts. And that might be a platform I go to, but nah. But I love the concept of it, right? Again, people want to have the ease of access because, with Ledger, for some people, it's kind of a pain. Let's just be honest, right? In Arculus, hopefully in the future they simply have more compatibility or more contracts, where you want to call it. We'll see where that goes. Does that happen within the next couple of years? I don't know. Do you have it? Are you using it? Do you like it? Are you only using it for the mainstream ones? And then for instance, like, I don't know, some of the other tokens like Jasmy and so on, you just, keep that on the ledger. I mean, some people do that, I'm not knocking it. All right. Friendly Neighborhood Pleb, can you share thoughts on QNT and ICP? If that is all right, just looking for your opinions. I didn't do a segment today on QNT because we usually cover QNT all the time. We've done more than enough research, deep dives. I mean, if anything, how about this? Check this out, especially if you're new to our channel. I think I've seen you here before. I'll show you one of the last videos I did. That way I'm not talking everybody's ear off about, QNT. It's just not going to be on the show today. But anyway, here's some of the most recent videos. So obviously the Jasmy one is off to a great start. But yeah, the massive news, the birth of institutional adoption over Ledger to go public. It's really big. And I get into the details about why I think it's so big. And basically speaking, let me see if I'm still in the frame. I am. basically speaking, it's like this. You know, when we seen ERC20 tokens for like, you know, meme token projects being deployed within 27 seconds, you know, this takes it to a different level because, you know, you will see QRC20 tokens, for instance, deployed off Quant's Overledger platform. And it gives you a breakdown of how much like the annual fees are going to be, you know, cost for that, you know, how many credits you need as far as actual QNT to do some of these things. And it's just, again, the ease of access of being able to create the contracts. If you're a dev, you don't have to learn a whole new coding language. It's absolutely huge because if anything, it's like, you know, I think in circulation we have 12.8, 12 something million. And then on top of that, you know, the total supply of quants QNT is 14.81 million, significantly less than, you know, BTC, obviously way more utility compared to BTC. Allows for interoperability, 100 plus blockchains. They got, you know, this thing with APIs for countless things. We talked about Project Rosalind, had confirmation on things that used to be considered quote unquote speculative. You know, again, the validation of basically working with the Bank of England, the Bank of International Settlements, a lot of things with quants. And another thing that a lot of people dismiss, I don't know why they do this, and that is QRC 721, a secure smart contract for NFTs. That's a big thing because especially if you're following like, you know, Ethereum and Solana, like back in 2021, Solana was the answer, temporarily speaking, to rival Ethereum when it came to NFTs and whatnot. So, but the quant answer again is taking smart contracts to the next level with the secure smart contracts on QRC 721. They also have, for instance, their own ISO standard with ISO TC 307 that literally Gilbert Verdian of Quant Network founded, I believe back in either 2015, 2016. So it's one of the most well connected products. I don't even want to call it a project anymore out there. So that goes into, you know, huge detail. If you don't want to watch the full outline, you don't have to. If you just want to watch like the beginning segment, which shows you the full, you know, unveiling of actually, you know, Overledger, the operating system. I think it's like a 5.5, 6 minute long video and so on. It's right at the beginning of the video. You can look into it. But anyway, we've done countless quant videos. I mean, as you can see right here, you know, here's Augustine of Bank of International Settlements. QNT powers the world. The one before that, QNT, NYIC, and Mass announced Project Cedar Phase 2 times Ubin plus results. I mean, they've done so many projects. Project Hamilton, Project Icebreaker, Project Rosalind, right? Obviously, this one faced, you know, Project Cedar. You know, there's other ones, for instance, being teamed up with Constellation DAG, government Web3 infrastructure, healthcare. You got to keep in mind Gilbert Verdian's wife, right? Laura Verdian, very, very well connected person. And then I even did a video about I called it Hyper Overledger, which is not a real thing, but, you know, Hyperledger Fabric support with Quant's Overledger. What was the other one I talked about not that long ago? Quant and Swift, right? We talk about, for instance, Chainlink and Swift. I think I'll just tell you about one more thing. There was a bombshell that was dropped last May in regards to a CBDC that had proof, right? We actually show you proof of, I don't know if it was, I think it was in Hong Kong, that literally, I think 19 million of the citizens in Hong Kong were being paid the Chinese civil servants, that's what it said, to receive a CBDC. And we even saw proof that it was, you know, deployed, for instance, through Quant's Overledger. And just one more, you know, finding freedom through entrepreneurs. I mean, just we always report things on QNT. We give you the deep dives, you name it. So you're more than welcome to check out all that. Yeah, QNT is, you know, is probably my number one. Close second is XRP, to round up my top 10. All right, I'm going to jump back to the comments because I need to do so. You stop share. Thank you for being here, friendly neighborhood pleb. I'm going to jump to the other screen Tim Shea says, Max, you should put out a DPG quant hat. I buy one. Love that symbol, and you are the quant master. Thanks, man. That's quite the compliment. Do appreciate that. DPG quant hat. I don't know. I'll have to figure out how to do that. You get a custom hat or something. Maybe that'll be the merch. This is the merch you're looking for. Why now, Richie? Anyway. Okay. Ahmed says, Danelle Dixon tweet woot. Or if you're German, woot, woot, woot. Proud to see Stellar Orgs, a Meinhardt, named a subcommittee member of the CFTC advisory group. Stellar is officially part of the regulators. All right. That's awesome. And let me tell you something else. And, Ahmed, I do appreciate that. So that is worth noting, right? So impressive, right? I want you guys just to take a moment. And if anything, I know that you guys chat, and that's fine. I don't mind it, right? I just want you guys to, I don't do this normally. I want you to pay attention to this. If you don't pay attention to anything else in this at all, at least pay attention to this. Think about what Ahmed just said right here, right? Stellar is officially part of the regulators, right? Now, I know that we're not talking about Jasmy, but let's just talk about it for a second. Genki Oda of, for instance, BitPoint. Years ago, he introduced on his platform, as in BitPoint, to the masses, all literally blanketed BitPoint ATMs for Bitcoin BTC, ATMs, if you will, right? But all these ATMs had the BitPoint sticker, or what do you call it, logo on them and so on. He's the guy who got that done. Okay, BitPoint, I believe it's like 51% or something like that, massively partnered, invested into Jasmy. They're one of the key partners for Jasmy. Now, you may be thinking, what the hell does this have to do with Ahmed's comment? What it has to do with Ahmed's comment is this part right here, okay, where it says that they named this person a subcommittee member to the CFTC advisory group. Now, we understand that CFTC is it's kind of like an oversight, right, when it comes to the SEC. But let's face it, I mean, not to the degree that we want. Now, the connection I'm trying to basically give you guys is an example, and I won't make this too long, is this. This guy, Genki Oda, over in Japan, also is, for instance, a big wig, if you will. He's not like the highest up. I think maybe he might be number 2 or number 3 in SBI. Remember we talked about SBI earlier? And then last but not least, he is part of the FSA. And we know that the FSA is basically Japan's version of the SEC. But let's face it, night and day difference, right? Very positive. But the key thing is he is a decision policy maker for Japan. So if we're going to give highlight to this, which is a great finding from Ahmed, at the same time, when people want to come to our channel and they want to flood the living crap out of the Jasmy, not understanding the research, not understanding the well-connected people, why was somebody who introduced Jasmy to the Jasmy to the masses, but Bitcoin to the masses, right? And is a decision maker for regulatory compliance. Remember we were talking about, like, for instance, DFFT and all that stuff. Want to waste his time with a quote-unquote scam. And there's so many better projects out there. Well, there might be a lot of great projects out there, right? Like if I had to pick QNT and Jasmy, where I'm going to go, right? But if there's so many great projects out there, why is this guy, Genki Oda, who is the most well-connected guy out there, want to waste his time with the likes of a scam if Jasmy's a scam? Can anybody answer that? Or is it crickets for the fudders who are in the chat currently, or maybe they already left? I don't know. Did you guys do more of your own research? Are you guys aware of some of those things? Or you just look at a chart and say, it's a blatant rug pull. Why would you want to get invested in that? It's all about when you enter make a position into the project. You can apply the same method to XRP. How many projects did people get into? How about this? Bitcoin, for crying out loud. How many people came into BTC at 69K at the very, very top of the mountain, got wrecked? Oh, I don't want to, everybody's right out there. I should listen to MSNBC. Oh, this lady came on, Her name is Rachel Matthews, and basically this dyke basically informed me that Bitcoin is all a scam and I should vote for Elizabeth Warren. Are you freaking kidding me? Yeah, they only report on what? The good times and the good times and the bad. They don't give you no research. They don't tell you about the use cases. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it's freaking cryptocurrency or the stock market. Are you going to come into a stock and buy at the top of the mountain? Oh, yeah, I did, Max, a while back. Then you aped into the project. You aped into the stock. I don't know. I get a little heated about some stuff because you want to know why? I just can't fathom people who just look at what's on the surface and then that's all you need. Oh, well, that's just a blatant rug pull. You're an idiot, Max, for shilling all this stuff. Yeah, but I guess I'm also an idiot for basically doing deep dive research that you won't do as a fudder because you just want to look at what's on the surface because that is what is convenient for you. Yeah, exactly. All right. Max going after pre-FUD now. All right. Pre-FUD TS. Let's go further down into the comments. And Jack W, welcome back. It's been a while since I've seen you. TS, terribly smart, terribly sexy, terribly shy. Oh my gosh. All right. TS, terrible STD. Jeez. All right. Crypto Homes, 777. QNT approaching 136,000 holders. Isn't it impressive? On Etherscan, the coming supply shock is edging closer and closer. All right. And that supply shock is significantly it's just, I mean, how many times have we heard we'll get priced out of QNT? Like, what's his name? Rich Common Sense Crypto always mentioned it, right? True. That Blackwood must have gotten hugged as a kid. Oh boy. TS Gump. My God. TS Garp. All right. Magic Power says Jasmy has enormous range of applications anywhere where data flows, online and offline, digital and analog, companies and private individuals just everywhere. All right. Magic Power also says everywhere data flows, gigantic. Yeah, that's what they call it, digital oil, right? Absolutely. Corey BB, or is it Bebe? Remember that movie from, was it 1992 or 93? Bebe's Kids. Anybody watch Bebe's Kids back in the day? We don't die, we multiply. Bebe's Kids. And it was a little baby. He had a, what's that guy who sang the song or rapped the song to Funky Cold Medina? Forgot his name. He did the voice. All right. Yeah, Wisdom Tree has been working with Stellar for a while. Someone else says, Max, didn't know you were into IT. Yeah, thanks, man. I've been doing it since like the year 2000, roughly. I used to do it full time, and then I switched to part time. So, and then I've done some work in, some various data centers and so on. Hooked up racks, 1Us, 2Us. I've done 4Us, which at this point, I mean, why is anybody doing a 4U? But I still have my own server. It's in at a data center in Chicago with a company called Colo Crossing. Pretty cool stuff. All right. Michael Montclair, soon XRP and Jasmy collaboration, I think. That would be incredible. Think about how bullish that sounds. Done deal Dixon in regards to Danelle Dixon, don't sleep on Stellar Lumens. Stop eating those gluten-free muffins, Muff. Oh, jeez. All right, let me go further down into the comments. Crypto God, welcome back. John Dees, love Jasmy. Can't wait for Casper talk. We already talked about it. We'll just read a couple more comments. You guys hear what Vitalik said about ETH staking? No, I didn't. But I'll tell you one thing I am going to look into. So somebody reported on a recorded video, look more into what Vitalik Buterin recently, which is, I don't know, let's face it, within the last few months, said about ICP. And I promised the guy I would do like a follow-up deep dive. That, with what he posted, sounded very impressive. I didn't welcome Boomer. Maybe you weren't here earlier. Well, welcome to the one, the only. You ready for it? You ready for it? Boomer effing Sooner! Boomer effing Sooner. Thank you for being here. Boomer effing Sooner. Michael Santiago, welcome back. I'm like ISO 222 koi or coin. I don't know what I'm saying here. Blackwood, most of us eat things that are produced by 12 companies in the US, things that are slowly killing us. When the rocket takes off, I will be growing as much as I possibly can. Oh. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Greg, aka Glitching the Matrix, buying bone like a madman. Let's see how much bone is right now. Let me see. Bone. 97 cents. Oh man, I guess I should have picked it up when it was 67. Or when it was like 30 something cents, right? Around this time last year. Yeah, missed the boat on that. Glad you see the opportunity. Welcome back to River, and let's just get right into also Le Grand Commission this year. Le Grand Commission. Oui, oui. Merci beaucoup. All right. So let's jump into this outline of what we have. I was at 717. Man, that was a while ago. All right. Yeah, let's jump into some algo. Okay, here we go. Hopefully you guys see this. You do. Let's smash that like for crying out loud. Let's see how we're doing on the likes. 56 likes. All right. This states crypto is a powerful and essential idea, and it's not going away, according to Algorand's John Allen Woods. It almost sounds like he's like a founding father or something like that, you know. It's like, yeah, I was out fighting the British with John Allen Woods or something. I don't know. Anyway, he's a CTO. We're at the Algorand Foundation. I'm going to play this. It's only 38 seconds, and then we'll get into this brief outline for Algorand. Smash that like for some algo. Here we go.
The idea or the concept of an internet native asset class, which sits alongside other traditional asset classes such as gold, precious metals, bonds, securities, etc., but does so in a way that it's internet native, decentralized, outside the realms of quantitative easing and other governmental controls, in a way that's robust, permissionless, as in you don't need someone's permission to have an account or to use it, censorship resistant, as in you can use it globally once there's internet in that place. These are very powerful ideas. And I think not only are they essential, but I don't think that those ideas are going away.
All right, so we're going to jump actually into this brief thread. It's not super long. It's not long like the Casper one, I promise. But yeah, let's get into this. And here's the update. It was reported yesterday. And like it says, thank you for everyone or to everyone for your questions, feedback, and so on. It gets into some key highlights here, right? So it says, while we are limited in what we can share about certain deals, let's face it, or most likely because of NDAs, right? Let's just be honest. Know that we are actively navigating these challenges to provide as much clarity as possible. Like how he puts clarity. All right, let's blow this up. It says, in our agreement with DFL or DWF Labs, who basically are building the future Web3 together, like it says, global digital asset market maker, basically Algorand's market maker, okay? Look at this. In that agreement with them, up to $50 million worth of algo tokens will be purchased over time. And I like how they put in the quotes or parentheses, not 50 million tokens. $50 million. I mean, somebody basically channel Dr. Evil, right? Where he's like, $1 million, right? Now, $50 million worth of algo tokens. All right, so what's this all about? Why pay attention to this? Well, it goes on to mention that the fulfillment of this agreement would result in the purchase of approximately 5% of the total supply of the 10 billion tokens, which is a very small percentage of the foundation's remaining holdings. There's a transparency report. I don't want to get into all the nerdy stuff, right? You can check that out if you choose to do so, because I'm probably going to retweet it anyway. Actually, just let me do that real quick. So there we go. Let's just retweet that. There we go. All right. So basically speaking, additionally, let's blow this up as well. They signed an MOU. And if you're wondering what the heck an MOU is, it's a memorandum of understanding. Okay. And, they signed this memorandum of understanding with DWF, again, the market maker of Algorand, if you're still with me, to facilitate information sharing and investments of up to $15 million by DWF Ventures directly into the ecosystem projects. Interested projects can apply here. Well, we're not those projects, right? So we're not going to even get into that. It says in both crypto and TradeFi, executing negotiated block sales limits the price impact that could otherwise occur if either party simply placed large orders on the open market. Is this them unveiling, without spilling the beans on everything, excuse me, about how their market maker goes about things? Well, seems to be, right? There's more. The block sale brings better value to the ecosystem because it averages over time, and they have the right to pause or halt OTC sales if conditions shift. Now, some people may be like, well, this is good. Some people, of course, going to say this is bad. Hey, whatever the case be, at least they're somewhat trying to be transparent about it. Like, they didn't have to volunteer any of this. You got to be, let's be honest. They don't have to volunteer squat when it comes to market maker agreements and so on. Let's get more into this. This deal is more than a token sale because it includes liquidity provision and the facilitation of investments by DWF into the Algorand ecosystem. Now, let's just be honest about this. Is the reason why Algorand is volunteering some of this information in regards to what they got going on with their market maker because in light of the SEC going after them? I think so. That's just my own opinion. This is their own way of trying to, I don't know if it's necessarily save face, but maybe trying to get things where they feel as though, like, look, man, we got to get the SEC kind of somewhat, like, you guys are too close, too up in my face. Could you, like, push back a little bit? Maybe, that's a reality. A little bit more here. For due diligence, we conducted standard KYB, which included checks on KYB. Is that typo? Checks on corporate structure, UBO, directors, along with a compliance screening. Let me get the Max scratcher. Furthermore, the agreement is structured such that algos are only delivered in tranches on receipt by the foundation of USD. And then the last part, or the second to last, the agreement does not require DWF, again, their market maker, to vote on government's proposals, but they are welcome to participate like any other algo holder. Interesting. Now, this part, the last part. The recent transparency report provides disclosure on the extent fiat is used to support the ecosystem from investments to business development. Of course, there's more details on the transparency report if you want to nerd it out. Now, some of the community is responding to this. I'll just read a few. This guy, Mitch, he says he loves this. He wants more, though. Well, how about monthly community calls with Q&A made from the community? Keep going, right? This other guy's got a legitimate question. What are the restrictions, if any? Like, for instance, DWF, as in the market maker, algo, in regards to selling algo, they bought at discount at, for instance, all-time lows since algo launched 4 years ago. I mean, that's a good question. What does providing liquidity mean exactly? Providing liquidity in DEXs or centralized exchanges, or just potential investment from their side into projects building on algo rails. But again, my key takeaway from all this is, basically speaking, they didn't have to volunteer any of this. They didn't have to share any of this with any of us, but they chose to do so. And again, my key takeaway is, I think the reason for that is because what happened with the SEC going after them and so on. It is what it is. Anyway, that is the Algorand update. I think there might be, maybe there's a tad bit more. Nope, that's it in regards to algo. So not the longest of threads, but glad to bring it to you guys nonetheless. Let me see if investor place is fixed. Hopefully it is. And it is not. Let me try one more time to refresh this. Hold on a second. I just want to see, because this was good stuff. If anything, if it doesn't load up, I could just do it tomorrow, I guess. And they still have an error. All right, so the thing that's going to conclude the show is the BSV segment. And this is a really nice segment. It's not super long, gets right to the point. So smash that like, especially if you enjoyed the content so far. I'll put up a few more banners back up, and we're going to get back into the comments. Thank you again to everybody that joined us here on this wonderful Saturday evening. And let's just get right back into the comments. All right. Everyone's saying hello to the one and only Grizzly Bear Greg. Somebody footed Jasmy. Yeah, earlier, but that's all right. I mean, come on, it's Jasmy. There's always gonna be somebody. Not necessarily in our chat, but especially on crypto Twitter. Sam J says XRP. No XRP tonight, unfortunately. But like our new format we're trying to do, because basically speaking, I mean, if I do coverage for everything, Sam J, that means I got to do QNT, XRP, XLM, XTC, Nexera, LCX, HBAR, Casper, Algo, Jasmy, BSV. And so what we try to do is split it up over multiple days, and that way everything does get coverage. But of course, if there's breaking news on certain ones that got covered today, then they get mentioned maybe 2 days in a row. But that is kind of like the new format, and I try to keep it now around 2 hours, 2.5 hours at the very max after reading comments and stuff. But welcome. Consider changing your avatar. Something speaks more about who you are and what you're about. And thank you for being here. All right. XRP is pumping. All right. Thoughts on XDC? Again, you can check out some of our deep dives. I'm gonna say it's a typical thing. One of the standout players for the trade industry and so on. I do feel as though that, oh man, I mean, we always talk about ISO 222 once fully implemented. Ripple's XRP and Stellar's XLM definitely stand out. But how about this? When FedNow goes live and so on, some people feel as though like, well, what about XDC? I mean, they're a big player. And some people are like, well, that's FedNow. Again, sometimes we don't understand everything that's connected and so on, but the trade finance sector is going to be absolutely massive. And for me, even if we're just focusing on ISO 222 and having that fully implemented by the end of 2025, was that November 2025? Am I going to be naive to think that XTC is not going to be a big player? It's going to be absolutely huge. How about this, guys? I'll give you a quick update, right? I did listen to one of Rich's last XDC videos. Remember how a while back he was mentioning $80 per XDC? Go and watch one of his, I think it was the most recent XDC video, his last one he put out. He mentions as high as $100 per XDC. That's insane. So somebody like Salamander, the XDC commander, I mean, that'd be I don't know if it was by 2030. I can't remember what date he mentioned, but if somebody was to diamond hand the hell out of that and hodl all that time, I mean, come on. Sal would be worth $100 million just off of XDC alone. That'd be massive. I don't see him obviously doing that. You probably sell off a big bag and become very wealthy. And I don't know. I can't speak on his behalf, but yeah, this one's consistently in my number 4 of my top 5. All right. Michael Montclair, he's being very patient with his B rise. Nothing wrong with that. Float away, Casper is another sleeper. I agree, it is. Michael Santiago, my sex game ran on XRPL fast and cheap. All right. Well, welcome. Glad to have you here. Yeah, I think it will too, man. I think it will. All right. What is this? Is this Larry's bidet or something? Or his toilet? Something like that. I don't know. VeChain could do some things, but I mean, we've been talking about VeChain for even since the last bull market, so I don't know. I don't hold any. I'm not trying to flood it or anything like that. All right. How about that magnificent bone? Yeah, I remember you saying that, it'd be nice if I can get back in. We used to cover a lot of bone on recorded videos. Maybe I could get back into that. We'll see. It's just so much to cover, man. But if you guys want, I mean, we can start covering it more. Maybe you can include it as part of that one of the hashtags and just include it on a different day of the week or whatever. I'll definitely consider that. You guys are definitely part of the community, longtime regulars and so on, members. And we do listen to some of your suggestions. So I'll try to see what we can, provide you in that regards. John Geese, Kevin Cage, great guy. Almost as good, you, Max. Good as me. All right. Thanks, John. Appreciate that, man. Boom. All right. Look at his hair. Look at whose hair. I don't have no hair. I do have some hair, but as my cousin would say, when we were at Disneyland, like back in 2017, he's just like, you know how I was able to find you? I'm like, how you know, his name is Christoph, you know, because he's half German, half Filipino. I know, weird mix. He's like, all I did is look around for, you know, I almost said a Russian voice, you know, all I did is look around for a half bald looking Filipino guy. I'm like, okay, thank you, because I wasn't wearing a hat. You like to say that in moist? Nothing wrong with that. All right, Michael Sunday is 46 quant. Okay, shoot, man, you're more than okay. You know, it just depends on how long you hold it. You know, I mean, if your goal is you're only holding to 10,000 a quant per quant, then I don't think you're okay, personally. You know what I mean? If your goal is to hold till it's like 50,000 a quant, then you may be more than okay. If your goal also is you're gonna diamond hand it to like 100,000 a quant, then you got the answer there. Actual photo of your plane. That's interesting. All right, let's go further down, see what other comments we have. You guys are all saying Vaseline. Marbles, wrong. Yeah, definitely wrong show, but that's okay. Hey, welcome back to W. Irv Gotti. Remember him? No, hopefully you don't. Irv Gotti was kind of lame, but anyway. And Murder Inc. He loves me some Casper content. Well, thanks, man. Glad you enjoyed that. And welcome back, W. Irv. All right, where else are we at? Welcome, everybody. Cash Cat says he was thinking quarter 2 of 2025. Oh, okay. You're talking about crypto homes. I already did that a long time ago. I was so tempted, though. I'll give you guys a heads up. I was so tempted to power swap my SHIB that, of course, as you guys know, I got back into it because that's one of my things. If something does really, really well for me, I think to myself, well, you know what? This one did well for me. Why would I want to get back into it at low prices? But then it went even lower. We went to 0.506 something. And I was just like, oh, man, what's going on with my SHIB? And then, of course, it rebounded. And even then, the thought crossed my mind, it's like, I don't know, man, like $9,000 worth of SHIB. And I was just like, should I just power swap this into like QNT at these price levels? And then I was like, but then SHIB will eventually come back. And I still have plenty of QNT. I'm not trying to be missing out on the boat. So I didn't do it. And I'm going to wait it out. I mean, that's just my thing. But I get where you're coming from, Mr. Cool Cat Crypto. Yeah, no, it's a lot. Definitely a lot. Who has cheaper fees, XRP or XLM? That's a good question. Some people will say it's XRP as far as like from a non-retail point of view, but we also know that XLM provides, also bank to bank as well. I mean, it's not as focused as XRP is. I don't know. I might have to go with XLM. But I also understand that XRP is probably more connected with the central banks than XLM. I don't know. I mean, I guess from the retail side, XLM. Definitely from the non-retail side, XRP. Maybe it also depends on how much money you're looking to move. I mean, if like I always mention, if you have the central bank of, I don't know, the central bank of Athens, Greece, or something like that, sending a cross-border overseas payment of $10 billion. I always use this example, right? Or 10 trillion, I should say. And how it used to be is to get hit with a fee of like $60 billion because you're using the old system. All right. If it was XRP, we know that would be significantly less, like pennies on the dollar. But if it was XLM, technically speaking, would that be cheaper? I don't know. I mean, they're both very cheap. But on the retail side, I think I would go with the XLM. So I don't know. Maybe that's not the answer you're looking for. You sold your Shiba in 2021. You won't look back. Well, I sold my Shiba in 2021. And then later on, after things kind of dipped down again, right? And it did because we went to crypto winter. I decided, I'll get back into it. Why not? So, all right. Casper staking equals 10.82% APY. Take advantage. Not too shabby, huh? Austin freaking loves bone. All right, let me go towards the bottom. Let me look at the other screen and see how we're doing. We have Floki Toshi. Floki Safe Moon. Welcome. All right. Let me just get into one more comment. Algos in Italy. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna read that. And I did. We will now get to the BSV part. Did I miss the BSV part? I was watching. No, we're gonna do it right now. Cool cat. Let's get to the BSV part. Okay. So jumping into BSV, you know me. Let's just get into it. So here it is. Comes from the Bitcoin Association for BSV. Let's pull this up. Smash that like if you want some BSV. This will be the final segment of the night. All right. It says, despite global adoption, Bitcoin and blockchain still needs clarification. Explore the potential of these transformative technologies in B.W. Doherty, who is Brian Doherty's book, and it's titled The Bitcoin Letters. So we're going to pull this up and we're going to take you there, and it's called, on this topic, the misconceptions around blockchain and Bitcoin. Because let's face it, there are some misconceptions. I mean, how many people basically bought Bitcoin Cash? Or, some people, let's face it, they probably even buy BSV and they don't realize that there is a totally different, it's different from traditional BTC, right? But, because it says Bitcoin, or, hey, BTC Pay. Hey, it says Bitcoin. I'm going to get into that. Well, maybe that's a good thing. All right. Maybe it's a bad thing. So we're going to jump into this. Here's the thread. It's not that long, so we're going to jump into it. Please smash that like. Here we go. The Bitcoin letters, the misconceptions around blockchain and Bitcoin. While Bitcoin and blockchain continue to see wide adoption from businesses and governments across the world, there are still many things that need to be clarified. And of course, it may seem like this is a lot to read. It's not. It's just real brief. This was reported yesterday by Ryan Brothwell. What a name. Almost sounds like he says Ryan Brothel. While BTC and, for instance, while Bitcoin and blockchain continue to see wide adoption from businesses and governments across the world, we do see that there's still many things that need to be clarified. And of course, Brian Doherty is going to give us this little brief outline. He wrote a book. It's called The Bitcoin Letters, like I mentioned. In this, he's going to explain that the Bitcoin Letters is going to help dispel some of the common misconceptions of blockchain. He states in this quote from his work as a public policy director. And again, how about this just real quick? If you're, if you watch the entire show today, I think the main key takeaway should be public policy directors, whether it's him, whether it's that guy from, Stellar that Ahmed reported about, or it is Genki Yoda over in Japan. These public policy directors have some clout, and we should definitely pay attention to what blockchain projects they're connected to, right? So obviously, Brian Doherty with BSV, Genki Yoda, obviously with Jasmy, and then the guy that Ahmed was talking about in regards to Stellar. All right, so it says he spent a great deal of his time educating lawmakers on these technologies, and there seems to be a grand conflation of these terms. He sees quite proficiently within the media and even within discussion of various legislative pieces that there's hyper focus on crypto rather than this underlying blockchain technology. Very true, right? Some people point out the negative aspects of cryptocurrency, but they can't give you great examples of use cases, right? Absolutely. Or if you talk about blockchain, some people might know about blockchain, but like they don't understand the differences of other ones that are not even technically blockchains, right? Like, Hashgraph from Hedera and so on. It's not even a blockchain. It's the Hashgraph consensus protocol, algorithm, totally a different type of thing, right? The gossip protocol. Before I play this video, I'm gonna read this last part real quick, and that is in regards to these perceptions versus blockchain reality. Doherty explains that a large part of his work is clearing up the misconceptions. He talks about, for instance, helping both government leaders, regulators realize the true potential of blockchain. It's one thing about saying it and another thing doing it. Remember in the past, if you've been watching our show, he went all the way to the New York State Senate, which that was big in itself, to explain and educate some of these guys in a state that's very, very, if anything, probably the most anti-crypto state of them all, right? But the point is him being a key player because he was a policy director, if you will. But yeah, over the last year, he met, of course, with congressmen, senators, various agencies of the United States government. I didn't realize that, right? I thought it was just, for instance, New York State Senate. So, I mean, again, he meets with all of them. He also met with various other political agencies across the globe, including the European Union Parliament, the EU Commission. He educated all these guys. Like it says, today's perception is that crypto is the winner of the ball as far as technology and digital transformation. The reality is that perception is a little more skewed, like you mentioned, and he wants to explain like the benefits of the underlying technology, which is blockchain, and the infrastructure, and how some of these governments can come in and basically utilize some of this, right? So I like this quote too. He says, we have to make sure that we are able to ensure the integrity and security, as well as be able to lower data silos for enterprises and governments. That's a typo probably, to be able to share this data back and forth. Remember what Gilbert Verdi mentioned: can't have walled gardens, can't have like separate silos. Blockchain really empowers the internet. It's very similar to TCP/IP in the sense that it is a protocol that empowers the management of the monetization, as there's no native token for the transfer of value on today's internet. But is BSV going to be that native token? And that's why we're, of course, paying attention. So let's scroll up to this. This is only 2.5 minutes, and this will conclude our coverage for the day in regards to BSV. So we're going to go ahead and play this. Let me just double check to see if my settings are good. They are. I'm going to take some banners off so we can put a little focus on this. And all right, let's go ahead and expand this. There we go. All right, here we go. Please smash that like. Thank you very much.
I wrote the Bitcoin letters to help dispel some of the common misconceptions around blockchain, Bitcoin, and cryptocurrency. From my work as a public policy director, I've spent a great deal of time educating lawmakers on these technologies, and there seems to be a grand conflation of these terms, and we see within the media and even within the discussion of various legislative pieces that there's a hyper focus on cryptocurrency rather than this underlying technology of blockchain. Over the past year, I've met with congressmen, senators, various agencies of the United States government. I've also met with various other political agencies across the globe, including the EU Parliament and the EU Commission, where I've helped educate lawmakers and policymakers, regulators on the difference between blockchain versus cryptocurrency, which is an important difference in respect to how this technology is implemented and used today. The other differences that I think is key for people to understand about blockchain is the inherent capability to empower other emerging technologies such as AI, drones, sensors. There's no shortage of smart devices, and the proliferation of these type of sensors, IoT sensors in today's environment, allow us to collect data, but we have to make sure that we're able to ensure its integrity and security, as well as be able to lower data silos for enterprises and governments to be able to share this data back and forth. Today's perception is that cryptocurrency is the actual winner of the ball, would you say, as far as technology and digital transformation. The reality is that perception is a little miscued in the sense that cryptocurrency is just one small benefit and capability of the underlying technology, which is blockchain, which provides infrastructure that allows us to provide more efficiency, better data integrity, better information security, as well as a way to monetize the web. Blockchain really empowers the internet, very similar to TCP/IP in the sense it is a protocol, and empowers the management or the monetization, as there is no native token for transfer of value on today's internet.
All right, so that was pretty cool. If you want, to obviously get his book, it's called The Bitcoin Letters. It's definitely written by him, as in Brad. I almost said Brad Doherty, Brian Doherty, and of course he is the, was it CTO of BSV? You can, of course, get it on Amazon. You can get the digital version, I'm sure, or you just go to thebitcoinletters.com if you choose to do so. No, we don't get any kickback about it and so on, but pretty interesting. Let me stop the screen. I'll kick it back into the comments, and then I'll read the last comments, and then after that, that will conclude our show. So thank you for being here tonight. Do appreciate it. Tim Shea says, Max, you should put out a... Oh, I read that earlier. My bad. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. GS says, Triple C, a friend of mine, said he emailed KuCoin support. All right. After the 16th, U.S. customers can only sell and withdraw. My God. Oh, boy. All right. I know spot trading. That's pretty lame. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to do everything through MEXC. I guess my new home is going to be MEXC. That sucks. All right. Triple C says he read an official KuCoin statement. Let me look again. Let me read this request. Sending some XLM to test after the 16th. All right. Cool Cat Crypto says existing users who registered before July 15, 2023 will have to complete the KYC process to access some features on KuCoin. Some users or such users will not be able to deposit new funds, while withdrawals will remain unaffected, the announcement notes. There's the official statement. There's more. KuCoin's existing users will still be able to use services like spot trading, sell orders, futures trading, deleveraging, and margin trading, deleveraging. Other available services for non-existing non-KYC users include redemptions at KuCoin staking and lending hub, KuCoin Earn, as well as exchange traded funds. Corey Baby says, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Meinhardt from Stellar CFTC chairman is responsible for Sorbonne. I think that's what Achman reported on earlier. All right, hold on a second. Le Grand Commission says, happy Independence Day weekend. Thank you. We're just getting ready for the 4th. Yeah, this is such a weird weekend for the 4th because Monday is the 3rd. So, does your employer allow you to have the 3rd off? I don't know. Cash Fiat, they should be more specific. Plus, testing is a great idea. Just sent 1 or 2 XLM. And ICP is great tech. Okay, hold on a second. What is this? Okay, hold on a second. All right, friendly neighborhood pleb. Thanks. I enjoy your streams. Second one I've been able to tune into. Oh, very cool. Well, for some of those questions you have about Q&T and stuff, I mean, honestly, that's why we have the recorded section. You just go into the videos, and I do lots of deep dives about all this stuff. Is MEXC doing all this nonsense? I don't know. Triple C. MEXC had me either confirm or deny I was in the U.S. to register. Yeah, I had to, I remember I was telling you guys a while back that I got on MEXC, and, you guys were like, there's no KYC, but it sure as the heck felt like there was. I had to do a whole bunch of stuff. All right. I hate the word market maker. Oh, because of Badir. I heard it too much back in the day. All right, Tim Shea says Mexi doesn't care. I tried to KYC and it's been pending for months. I don't think they bother processing them. Oh, so it's just kind of like, oh, well, here's something we recommend, but we're not going to follow up on it. That's kind of weird, you know. Kind of makes you wonder when Gensler and the SEC will go after them after they figure that out. I don't know. Just saying. Humpty's favorite, the crypto casino. Someone surely doesn't want Americans to have access to good crypto. Seems like it, right? Definitely seems like it. Wow, we're being discriminated against so bad here in America regarding crypto. Yeah. 6 months from now, no one will be able to buy any. Seems like it, don't it? Freaking ridiculous. Until Binance out of the U.S., we'll have to put up with the absolute BS for a while. Yeah, and how about that recent thing? How he basically was saying on like in the interview or whatever. He was like, "Yeah, Putin's losing the war in Iraq." Really, the war in Iraq? Really? Huh? I mean, I can understand like if a person misspeaks about stuff, but damn. All right, I feel bad for new people coming into the space. I've been feeling bad for people coming into the space for a long time, but it just depends on what they're into. All right. Brittany's giving the thumbs up. Let me see what else is left. Welcome to Heath over Ledgerly. Murda. Oh, yeah, because Irv got it. Irv got it. Oh, wow. Mike Tyson. I seen bone going up to $1 today. I'm absolutely ferocious. I'll eat your children. I am Mike Tyson, the one and only. All right. Alice Frost, Floki Safe Mood. Okay. Welcome to Oswaldo. And who else do we have up in here? Spiritual Trip, welcome. Alice, welcome. Floki Safe Moon, SMM, FSM, please. I won't be able to do that tonight. I'm going to get going here in a bit. Arnold Fless, Floki Safe Moon, FSM, strong floor price, low market cap, gem, diamond hands, community. Wallets cannot have more than 1% of supply. Okay. I guess it is shill time. I mean, I guess today was like shill day. We had the clown guys from Clown Coin, and then I guess this Floki Safe Moon FSM will be the next pet of Elon. Low market cap gem and it's exploding right now. Has the best contract ever. All right. Oh my God. You guys just basically came in here and spammed the chat. Do you guys even show your faces, to be honest? Are you even doxxed? I don't know. Check XRP chart. Hold on a second. Legrand. I don't even know if there's just a second. All right, give me a second. I mean, it shows us up 1.41%. I don't know. What's the main thing you want me to look here? I mean, I don't have the chart up, but it looks bullish, really? All right, hold on. Let me do KuCoin real quick then. Let's do KuCoin. Stop share. KuCoin. See, we pull up XRP. I'm probably late to this. He's probably not even here anymore. I'm going to pull up a chart and he's not even here. Maybe he's here. I don't know. XRP. Ah, shoot. Is there any particular 1 hour, 4 hour, 1 day chart? I don't know. You're very welcome. All right. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I don't even think LeBron's here anymore. Here, I'm trying to pull up a chart, but whatever. There we go. Oh, I see what you're saying. This nice little candle at the end. Yes. Yes. Do it. Give in to the hate. Do it. Do we have Crypto Jedi still here? He would be like, do it. Initiate order 66 XRP. Do it. All right. Well, that is worth pointing out then. I didn't even realize that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I was muted. Unbelievable. That's when we do need to end everything. I was like, why isn't anybody typing anything? All right. Have a great night, everybody. Take it easy. We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye. Thank you, Edward Benson. Have a great night. See you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, hopefully.
Singing this song, I see I was wrong to chain you down.